is.
Hey, I finally got that request.
I was waiting for a request from you.
No, I thought for a minute there you didn't want to talk to me. Come on. You would not believe this. Okay, so I'm sitting in my office getting ready for this, right? And all of a sudden, you got to excuse the darkness. One of the alarms goes off on one of the power supplies for one of the computers. So you hear that?
Oh no.
So we don't want to have that. So it's just it's gonna run. I'm gonna go somewhere else. How's that sound? But I do have my tea here. That sounds
great. Nice. Yeah, wait, show me your mug. Let me see that.
It's a Minnesota mug. Hold on.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's real authentic looking.
Yeah, what do you think? It's got a moose on there. Let's see. Let's get the moose in there. Okay, what else? There's the Twin Cities. See that?
Nice.
There's the loon. There's a loon.
Ooh, a loon.
Yeah, that's a state bird. Is our loon?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. There's a lady slipper on here too. That's our state flower.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
How fitting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm breaking in a brand new mug. This is my pug mug.
Oh, I love it. All right.
This is a gift from our lovely cousin Ashley and her husband Erickson.
All right. Well,
it is full. I'm sorry? Uh-oh. Wherever you are, it has bad reception. Oh, now I can hear you.
Yeah, I lost you.
So what are you drinking?
This is Good Earth Tea. This is their classic. It's a fabulous restaurant here in the Twin Cities. It's shout out to Ricky Milan. It's Ricky Milan's favorite restaurant, I think. So if Ricky's watching us, I can't see who's on and who's not, but if Ricky is, he loves this place and he loves the tea.
Love it. Black coffee.
Ah, okay. No, not a coffee drinker. For everyone out there, you want to know a little bit more about me? I'm not a coffee drinker. Sorry. I do love coffee, but I'm not a coffee drinker.
Well, let's be honest. You need very steady hands for what you do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one wrong move.
I don't want to lose a finger. So
I've seen some of the equipment you use, and that does seem like an occupational hazard.
Sharp. Very sharp.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, especially big scissors like this one. Look at this scissors. Bigger than my head. Yes.
So give everybody a tour if you don't mind. Tell us where you're at and show us around a little bit.
So I am at work here, so we'll flip it around. And I'm going to apologize. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of all in disarray here. It's because a month ago, we actually had a cracked pipe. And so this whole area was about 3 inches underwater. And so that's not a cool thing.
No.
It's a bad thing. And no one's back to work yet. So there's a lot of empty workbenches, and we're trying to get those in working order and spread them around, get everyone kind of social distanced. And we're trying to put together a plan for our COVID plan for a return to work. So here I can walk everyone around. We have a lot of people might not know the size of this place. You've been here a number of times, Mark, so you know.
Yeah.
But we have 12,000 square feet. We have a lot of finished shoes, and as people might not know, we do more than just tap shoes, of course. So you know me as a tap shoe Matt, but a lot of people call me Matt the shoe guy, not just tap shoe Matt. So we do everything from ballet slippers to jazz shoes to all sorts of lyrical and modern type of footwear, and of course tights. We actually sell more tights and more units of tights than we do shoes.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying we should start calling you Pink Tights Matt.
Yes, Pink Tights Matt is fine. I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. So
I love it.
Yes, not a problem. So I'll take you to the back warehouse here. And you can see this time of year, of course, our inventory is at the lowest because we're not as busy. So COVID kind of came at an okay time, but our busiest seasons, of course, are late July, August, and September. And so this will be all packed with shoes all the way to the ceiling back here, just cases and pallets full of shoes. As you know, and other people don't know, we manufacture in 7 countries. You want me to flip around? No one needs to. These are all tights, by the way. All these rows, all these cases are solid tights. So
that's a lot of tights.
A lot of tights. Hey, the nice thing about tights is they run and they wear out quickly. And so you need to go through them quite frequently. So we like products like that. So, yes. Professional tap shoes last a little bit longer for a number of people. Not every professional tap dancer, but for most, they last longer than a pair of tights.
I would imagine.
They cost more, too.
Well, yes. Don't I know that?
They cost more. They cost more than a $10 pair of tights. So where was I? Where were we talking about? I was gonna tell you something here before I got into that.
I don't know. I'm just loving the tour right now. I'm loving like watching you move. It's like I'm watching a Darren Aronofsky film. He's
have
a
you
filmmaker.
had that in
That's
your other tea on taps? If people been moving, or did you have some class workshop?
It's funny you would ask. There's only been one guest who literally was moving for much of the interview. Our dear friend Trey Dumas did most of the interview while driving through the streets of Chicago, which seems terribly dangerous.
It is, but maybe you guys, there's not as many people on the streets right now.
Very true.
So it's
Very
safer,
true.
but still dangerous.
Yes.
Don't what do you call this? See, I'm really not up on my social media stuff. This is an Instagram live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on an Instagram live.
Instagram live. So this is, that would be considered like texting and driving. You don't want to Instagram live and drive at the same time. Yeah, I get it.
I think,
better to say,
in his defense, he had a holder, so his phone was just like being held by something.
Okay.
So he could just drive and talk to us.
Sure.
It was a quintessentially Trey Dumas moment. Because he instantly was cooler than anybody else I've interviewed because he had his sunglasses, he's driving this cool car, streets of Chicago going by. I was like, yeah, of course.
It was like a regular movie. That's great.
Yes.
I love Trey.
Yes.
I love, and maybe he was in a Spider-Man costume while he was doing it.
We talked about his Spider-Man tap shoes. You know we did.
Okay, good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. At least someone's talking about something.
So I'm going to start with our normal questions.
All right. Okay. I'm 54 years old. I have brown hair and brown eyes.
Yeah.
I'm married.
And looking mighty good.
Children. Happily married, almost 28 years. So.
Aww.
Yeah. You know Carrie.
And you're in business with your wife. She works with the DC. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the alarm's still going off. I can't go back in my office. I'm just going to go back out to the workshop. So.
That's all right. I mean, this is like work. This counts. You can do this in the workshop.
I'm trying to get my steps in is what I'm doing here.
Nice.
Yes. All right.
Maybe there's a certain pair of shoes that somebody's waiting for that you could finish while we interview. A certain hyper handsome bald fellow in Chicago who's been patiently waiting.
I love that. If Angela Johnson's out there from Savannah, Georgia, I have to work on her new pair. So,
love it.
Yeah.
But, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of shoes and actually making them in a little bit, and maybe even shoe repair. Because I know for our tap fans, that is something that they're really going to be interested in.
Yeah.
Because, tap dancers have quite an intimate relationship with our shoes. I mean, they really are our best friend. They're our instrument, right?
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
You think of guitarists, right? They're always naming their guitar. Lucille very famously with Bo Diddley.
Yes.
So I think, the more insight that people get today about tap shoes, I think the more they're just going to love it. But first, I've got some general questions to ask you because I want to make sure I want to treat you as much as possible, just like every other guest.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with this. What was your first experience with tap dance? As a viewer or as a student?
Sure. Yep. Honestly, certainly film and movie. was probably my first go around with tap dance. But then on a professional note, my first experience was my very first customer, Carla Grotting. She owned a dance studio in St. Cloud, Minnesota. And you might know Carla from the Flying Foot Form with Joe Koala.
Oh.
So Carla was one of the original members, founding members of the Flying Foot Form. And that was about 33 years ago, and working with Carla and Joe. But actually, even before Joe got into the mix of things, it was working with Carla. So, yeah. And my sister's 15 years older than I am. And she, of course, grew up dancing herself. But by the time I was able to see her dance, she was already long gone, kind of out of the house, or from what I can remember. So, yep. Yep.
Can you give us a little history real quick of the dancing fair itself, because it is truly
Yeah.
a family affair.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, thanks. So my dad started the company, the Fair Incorporated, as a spinoff of my grandfather's company. That dates back to actually the 30s. But my dad started the Fair Incorporated in 1955. And it was a family department store. And my dad had a dance department, like many department stores at that time did. And my dad specialized in footwear. That was his background, was shoes. And so he worked with a number of dance schools, and then also dancers that would come to his store. And we had traditionally a store up until about 1987, 88. And then from there, my dad was going to do this as a hobby. He was going to do just dance footwear as a hobby, something to a couple hours a day to get away from my mom and to kind of a refuge. And I was graduating from college. It was right before I was graduating, and I said, that's actually a fantastic business, and I would love to go into the business. And so then we transitioned out of a family department store, which I didn't want anything to do with retail, and we went in more into the manufacturing and wholesale distribution, and then selling dance shoes on a direct to studio level, on a wholesale level. Okay. And then the custom tap shoes kind of came as a spinoff of that, in working with people like Carla and Joe and the Flying Foot Form, and seeing that there was really a need for someone to, as you said, I mean, you're so attached to your shoes. I mean, that is your instrument. That is the instrument of a tap dancer. And no one was taking that seriously and really helping there you are. Okay, sorry about that. Something came over. If I lost you a second, I'm back. So that kind of spun off into doing the tap dance footwear on a direct to consumer level. And that's really one of the only products that we do sell directly to consumer. We have a product line that we distribute out of Australia called MDM, primarily a ballet slipper line, but they also have modern shoes and a jazz shoe as well. And that we do direct to consumer as well. But otherwise, we still follow most of our businesses on the wholesale level, direct to dance studios and to stores. So, and that's the way the business has been since about 87, 88. So
one of the things that I don't know if everybody knows about you, but that I think is really fascinating, and it's one of the things that I think is one of the many differentiators as far as the business you're in, is that you've actually studied quite seriously problems, injuries that people can have with their feet, or conditions, or things that go on with the foot, and how specifically to help people correct them, so that not only can they continue to dance, but they can do it with less pain, with greater facility. How did that interest come in? Because you're the only shoe person I know that has that extra level of care about, hey, it hurts when you dance, let's fix that together.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that really came about from my dad, right? And my dad wasn't a certified podorthist. He was a podorthist, certainly, because he would do footwear modifications, and he would do any types of modifications to shoes and or orthotics to help a person with a problem with their feet, right? But then I went to school for that, and I studied in Chicago, just in North Chicago at the Scholl School of Podiatry Medicine. And I got my degree there in podorthics and took my board exam and became a certified podorthist. And so a podorthist is basically a shoe doctor. A podiatrist is a foot doctor, and a lot of podiatrists surgery. Of course, they want to correct foot problems with surgery. A podorthist looks at non-invasive ways to help people solve their foot pain and foot problems. So we're kind of a shoe doctor. And podorthists and podiatrists work together along with orthopedic surgeons as well. And you'll see a lot of podorthists in diabetic area. So the diabetic industry uses a lot of podorthists. Children's corrective footwear uses a lot of podorthics as well. And there's all sorts of many diseases of the body or many diseases or injuries of the feet that use a podorthist. So there's not many of us in general. There's only, I don't know if the number is like 2,000 or 2,500 nationwide. Oh, wow. And Nancy, who works with us here at Dancing Fair, Nancy and I are the only two in dance that we know of. Yeah, that are doing anything with the dance industry.
Well, I will relate that, that I have weird feet. I have about as well. They're flat, right? They're just.
Yeah, you have an interesting foot shape and an interesting foot type. Oh, you have a.
Now wait, when you say interesting, what you mean is like super sexy, right? That's like code word.
Exactly. But if you want to say super sexy, yes.
So I will share that the last time I went to the dancing fair, that Matt had me take off my shoes and socks and gathered everyone around to gawk at my feet and how weird they are.
You have a lot going on with those feet, Mark. You are a challenge. You are really I don't have much more to say. So.
So this is a question I usually obviously ask tap dancers, not tap shoemakers, but I am interested because your mentors literally were your father, and I'm assuming at some point your grandfather probably too.
My grandpa was totally out of the business. He was not.
Okay.
Oh, but I had another great mentor. Sorry, I was just trying to balance this phone instead of holding it, but I think it works better.
Yeah, you should be able to set it down. You should not have to hold it the whole time.
That's all right.
If only you had some industrial equipment around you that you could.
Yeah, what I should have is a little holder here. We can make one, I guess. I had a great gentleman that worked for me, an Italian shoemaker. His name was Joe Millette, and certainly he was a great influence and a great mentor, and really helped me quite a bit. And Joe was wonderful. He passed away a number of years ago, but was really fun to work with. Really, just a great guy, and just so incredibly knowledgeable. And he was just so happy to pass that knowledge on. And it was funny, the way we came to meet each other was through a cousin of his who had a shoe repair shop here in the Twin Cities. And I was having a problem with one of my sewing machines. And I went over and talked to his cousin, Mark Linetti, and I said, Mark, I'm having a problem with my machine. And I said, I can't get it working. And he said, well, you want to talk to my cousin, Joe. So I called Joe up, and he was retired at the time. He wasn't working. And Joe said, yeah, well, maybe I can help you. Maybe I can take a look at it. And he said, where are you located? And at that time, we were right on the border of Minneapolis, and just Minneapolis and St. Paul, and really not too far away from his house. But I said, we're in Minneapolis. Oh, I'm not going all the way over there. And I said, well, I can come pick you up. So I jumped in my car, drove over, and then picked him up, and really, oops, lost you there. That wasn't working very well. And so we'll do this. So I went over and picked up Joe and brought him back, and he got the machine working in no time whatsoever. And I said to him, hey, would you like a job working here? And you can help me out a couple of days a week. And he looked around and said, yeah, that sounds fantastic. yeah, great. So then he came to work for me, and what turned into a couple hours a week ended up being more because he loved coming here. He had such a blast. So we loved having him. He was great. So
that concept of lineage of like a master apprentice, a teacher, a student, that's something that resonates within a craft, I would imagine, like making shoes in the same way that it does in the tap community.
yeah, it's really yeah, similar. I mean, almost identical. And those are things, right? I mean, you can go to school, right? I mean, there's a lot of great universities out there. You went to a great university and for dance and theater, and right, there's a lot of great universities, but it really comes down to ultimately having that hands-on experience and working with someone who is a master, and then perfecting that, taking it from there. And it's about putting in those hours, right? You got to put in the countless hours, timeless, and it takes time. It doesn't come overnight, and it takes forever. And we're always. So
I love it.
That goes by. Sometimes, I've seen the problem or an issue with like a repair, for instance, and I've seen it before, and we know exactly what to do. And then other times you go, okay, how do I address this? And you guys have it the same way, right?
Yeah,
when
without a doubt.
On an improv or something like that. So
problem solving, right?
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Ain't that the truth? So one of the questions I ask everybody is, what made you fall in love with tap dance? But what I want to ask you is slightly different. What made you fall in love with tap dancers? Yeah. And I have a question, because you deal with people that are professional ballet dancers and other types of dance. How are there any kind of generalities that you feel like you can safely say about tap dancers and kind of our outlook, or how we act as a community or work as a community? Like, how are we different than the other people that you work with on a daily basis?
Well, all dancers are wonderful and fantastic, and really I enjoy working with all of them. But honestly, with tap dancers, what really sets them apart is they're just real. They're genuine, honest, they're down to earth. And I'm not saying that in terms of dance. I'm just saying with tap dancers, there's definitely a great connection. And I think because, your instrument, and you're so passionate about your instrument, that we can have these great working relationships, and you guys understand. I mean, it's funny because, and I hate to rip on anyone, but sometimes when I talk to a ballerina, for instance, there's just that disconnect. They really don't understand what you're talking about. But when it comes to a tap dancer and you're explaining a problem and then how we're going to address it, they get it. It's like that logic kicks in, exactly what you're talking about, problem solving, and they go, oh yeah, okay. And then we work together in a lot of these cases to solve these problems, or, better product, or address issues, and there's just that down to earth, real feeling that you get working with a tap dancer. So.
Well, Matt, it's nice that you like tap dancers so much. I want to share a little bit with you about how tap dancers feel about you.
Oh, no. No.
Oh, I know. I apologize. And here, one sec, I realized I did not. There we go. Do not disturb is now on. So I posted about today's interview, and people felt like they were so angry about it, or upset, or maybe just, they had some negative things they wanted to work through. So a lot of people commented. Here's some of the comments. Anna Esposito, for whatever reason, just put, Matt! Exclamation point, exclamation point. I'm assuming she was really mad at you. I don't know why, but she just put Matt.
Absolutely, she's pissed.
Jennifer Miller, who we both know, I assumed, I mean, she didn't say that this was sarcastic, but I'm going to choose to read it sarcastically. Matt is the best. Yeah, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Okay.
Matt is the best. Yeah, so I don't know what you did to her, but she clearly is upset.
Love you, Jennifer. Love you.
Shadow Brandt just ordered some boots off him.
He did. He did.
And he has been great to work with. and so upfront about timing with all of the craziness going on. Awesome dude. Again, I think the sarcasm is like, I mean, to me, I can't avoid it, right? Like, clearly.
Right. And I appreciate you editing these because I saw that one and there was a but, then but.
I didn't want to make you feel bad. I didn't want to make you feel bad.
Yes.
Katie Miller.
Yes.
He really is the nicest person. I'm adding the quotes. She didn't have the quotes. We just ordered shoes from him this month.
Yeah.
Tiffany Saunders, whose son I teach. My goal is to take Jaden to see him in person for a custom fit.
Yes.
But this is a good step towards that goal. And then Jennifer said, Tiffany, you can just call him. He can help you over the phone. He's the best. Yeah, and again, I assume that's the intention, the intonation. And then Josh Hilberman, who we both know and love.
Yes, we do.
All he wrote was Matt the Shoe God.
Okay.
Which, I mean, sacrilegious? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't know what that says about you, but, you know.
Bordering.
False idol.
Yeah.
Thelma Goldberg said, who I love. You know Thelma Goldberg, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I love her dearly.
Yeah.
She said, I'm desperate for shoes by Matt.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave that one there.
Well, she's on the East Coast. She's out in the Boston area, right? Isn't she in the Boston area?
You are correct.
So I guess
I taught
a trip out to Boston.
Her studio is beautiful, and her students, no tap. I tell you what, I taught for her, and they are amazing. She has a son, you know, who is a brilliant tap dancer, Sebi. Ricky Milan, much like Anna Esposito, I don't know why people feel the need to shout your name, but Ricky also just all caps, Matt! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Okay.
And finally, the final one, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, I almost didn't want to read this one because it's kind of the nail in the coffin. Yeah. I think like it's kind of the most hurtful, and I hope we can finish this interview despite your hurt feelings.
Sure. Is it from? Hold on. First off, is it from Reggio?
No.
If it's from Reggio, then you can't read it. But if it's from anyone else, go ahead.
No, this is from Steph Hornung.
Okay.
And Steph just put the absolute best! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
Wow.
Wait for it! Exclamation point!
Wow! Thanks.
So those are just a few of the things people felt the need to say out loud. I hope that you can take that criticism and do something with it. You know, maybe work on your reputation. You know, like people. I don't know. I'm putting that out there.
I'll tell you what, that's what helps keep you going in times like this. Because as you and I have talked, and we've talked quite a bit, quite often since March, middle of March.
We have.
It's been really difficult. It's been really tough times, and you know the dancers aren't performing and dancing, and some are from home, of course, and that's awesome and that's great. Some have had a need for shoes, and some have not, and it's been tough. Yeah, it's been tough.
Well,
our whole industry. You know, dance and theater, it's been tough because a lot of people don't know we do a lot in the theatrical community as well.
Oh yeah,
and
you do a lot of tours, don't you?
We do, and we were so lucky and fortunate last year. We did the 42nd Street show, the new revived 42nd Street, the one that was done at Drury Lane. So that production, that absolutely incredible, absolutely insanely incredible, and we're so lucky that they tweaked it from Drury Lane, right, and they brought it here to Minneapolis, and they did the world premiere at the Ordway in hopes to take that on a Broadway tour, which it's phenomenal. And we were so lucky to be able to do all the shoes, all the footwear and tights for that performance and be a part of that because it's just historic. It's just a great piece. I loved it from start to finish.
Without a doubt. And I would be remiss as a Chicago tap dancer if I didn't mention, among many greats that were in the cast, but here in Chicago, Minneapolis native Devon Suttles.
Yes. Yes.
A good friend of mine, Tristan Bruns.
Yes.
And the great Time Bricky Yeah, we had quite a, and like I say, there were definitely other amazing people in the cast, but just off the top of my head, I saw that production here, and yeah, it blew Jen, my wife, Jen, Jen, of course, but Jen and I went and saw it, blown
Yeah,
away. So
absolutely.
good.
And then they tweaked
Okay.
it and made it even better and brought it, you know, open it here. But, and
Yeah.
by the way, all three of those fantastic individuals are friends and customers of mine too, as well.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Yeah. Love all three of those guys.
Yeah, they're great people. It really, and it's, you know, it, all kidding aside, what you said about our community, I think it's true, and it's interesting. I've been thinking a lot lately about how the tap community is different from other communities in dance, ballet, jazz, modern. And, you know, there are certainly some things that I think we maybe care more about, one being lineage. I think, you know, for tap dancers, knowing who your teacher's teacher was and who so-and-so's teacher was, and kind of having a sense of the family tree is so important in the tap world. And it's interesting because I've been realizing that maybe we might actually have more in common with communities like the magic community, like professional magicians, I think have that same sense of like, you know, this person was influenced by them and their teacher was this person. And, you know, there's a lot of thought and care and attention paid to that. But you are correct. I mean, I think the tap community is special, and there's no doubt that the tap community does not love you the way that you love the tap community. That is for sure.
I love all of them and appreciate it. I really do. I really do.
Well, we all feel it.
Thank
all right,
you.
so I'm going to stop being nice again. It was way more fun being sarcastic.
I like it.
Well, and along those lines, actually, I have a quiz for you. This was not on the test. Not on the questions I sent.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to give you a list of tap dancer names, and then I want you to tell me what they all have in common. All right? So here we go.
Okay.
Michelle Dorrance.
Yes.
Derek Grant.
Yes.
Heather Cornell.
Yep.
Chloe Arnold.
Yep.
Evan Ruggiero.
Okay.
Star Dixon. What do all of those tap dancers have in common?
Well, I can't say the Twin City Tap Festival because Chloe hasn't been at our festival yet. So
yet.
That's yet.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
They were all able to do this interview on time.
Oh no. Okay.
Out of I have interviewed tap luminaries, you know, award winners, geniuses, literal geniuses. They all somehow were able to do this interview on time as scheduled. The only diva that said, no, Mark, I'm not ready, and demanded a later time, Mr. Tap Shoe Hat. Now, I know you have a really good reason for it.
I do. I had a PPP meeting with my accounting firm. You know, we're just trying to keep afloat here. So, and there's been so many changes, and we need to keep up on those changes. And so that is my reason for not meeting at noon. So sorry. I deeply apologize. Thank you for.
That's all right.
So
it was a good quiz though, right?
It's a great quiz. Great quiz. You caught me on that one. You got me. It's not because I'm not running the air conditioner in here, although I'm not running the air conditioner. I'm trying to save every penny I possibly can. As a matter of fact, you see in the back warehouse, all the lights are off because we only have the skylights. No lights are on back here. Here.
Wow.
Because I'm just trying to save a buck.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Hey, man, tough times, right?
Yeah, so I had to sit down on that PPP meeting. Sorry.
That is okay. I'm glad you're done with PPP. Yeah.
For now.
You know me. I have more questions for you.
I know.
So, are there trends that you've seen in tap shoes over the years?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Tell us about those.
Yeah, there's been a lot of trends, and certainly everyone's trying to invent the next greatest thing, right? And, you know, one of the things that we've seen here lately is years ago, you know, we would just put the taps on the shoes themselves, and now everyone wants those taps contoured to the shape of the sole and the shape of the heel. And so that's not a trend necessarily for the shoe itself, but a trend for the tap and how the tap is attached onto the shoe. But certainly there's been trends with development of making the shoes more comfortable, the styles of the shoes as far as a slip-on. For a while there was kind of a move towards a slip-on, a no lace type of shoe.
Yep.
In the kid shoes, there was certainly trends with Velcro and some sort of easy type of way to adhere the shoe to your foot. Again, like slip-on. Split sole certainly came about in that late 80s, early 90s, that split sole trend, especially out of that theatrical community. There was quite a movement there. And at that time, too, you got to remember, we were going from full-sole ballet slippers and full-sole jazz shoes in the 70s and the early 80s. And when that first split sole ballet slipper came out, and then that first split sole jazz shoe came out, it's like, why not a split sole tap shoe? Why not continue this split sole movement? And so really, I think that was a big impact coming out of those other products of the other dance areas.
Yeah.
And so, and certainly there's been kind of a push in the past, I don't know, I'd say 5 to 10 years for vegan footwear. And then also high tech, trying to...
wait a minute, Matt, who are these people eating their tap shoes?
Yes, I know, but the tap shoes are made from leather, so they're carrying it through. I know. Some people might eat their tap shoes. As a matter of fact,
They might.
With the children's footwear that we make in China, and that's the only product I make in China, by the way, is just the little kids' entry-level tap shoes.
Sure. Yeah.
Those have to be tested, and we have to have it signed off and inspected and tested that the shoes don't contain certain materials in them in case children put the shoes in their mouth. Yep.
I love it.
Yep. Eating tap shoes. Eating tap shoes. So those have to be, we have a third-party test, and then we have to present that to the government that the shoes are considered safe.
That's amazing.
The hard part of getting around that? The metal tap.
Oh, I bet that's right.
The aluminum tap is not safe. The uppers are, the lining, the binding material, the other components, but that tap, otherwise we couldn't put a metal tap on the bottom. Yeah. So that's the hard part, is the metal tap. And if a child puts that in their mouth, and we laugh and joke about it, right? But unfortunately, kids put a lot of stuff in their mouths. So
yeah, kids are gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we've seen a lot of trends over the years. A lot of things have changed, with tap shoes. But it all comes back to a lace-up Oxford, right? Yeah. That provides beautiful sound and comfort and durability. That's what it ultimately comes back to. We can do all these crazy things with having, like Capizio came out with the supersonic, or not supersonic, what the heck was it called? Tapsonic.
Yeah. I remember those. Yep.
Tapsonic shoe, Yep. But really what it comes right back to is having a quality product.
Yeah.
So, ultimately.
And you can tell. I can tell when a shoe is made with good quality materials, is well made. What is the one thing that everyone could do differently to make their tap shoes last longer? Like, what are the mistakes people make?
Great question. Okay, first thing you should do is wear a sock. Okay, that's the first thing. And a moisture wicking sock. Okay, something that, and it can be thin. It doesn't have to be thick. It can be thin, but something that's going to wick away the moisture. Using a shoe tree. When you're done dancing, put a cedar shoe tree. Cedar, that's the key word, because cedar absorbs the moisture. Okay, it helps the shoe keep its shape. It also makes the shoe smell very nice because it's out of cedar. And then you want to use a very nice cleaner conditioner and a shoe polish to keep that leather soft. As you know, in Chicago, and I'm here in Minneapolis, our skin gets very dry and cracked in the wintertime. And
Yeah.
leather, what is leather? It's skin. It's the
Skin.
skin from an animal, whether it's a cow or a goat or sheep or whatever. So you want to keep that moisturized. And those simple things will really keep that shoe looking better and beautiful for a very, very long time. I had a gentleman who was in clogging, and he wore a K360 for clogging, and he used a regular Teletone tap, not a clogging tap, but a Teletone tap. And he had his K360s for over 20 years, and he danced all the time. Wow. It wasn't like a fly-by-night. He was a serious professional clogger, and he took so much care with those shoes, and he did exactly what I'm talking about. And he kept them in a bag too. They weren't getting tossed around in the back of a trunk or anything like that. And they stayed looking beautiful for a very, very long period of time.
I love it.
Yes.
What does one moisturize a pair of tap shoes with?
Good question. There's some cleaner conditioners. There's a company called Meltonian, and I sell this stuff too. And really, I should do a better job of upselling. When I'm selling you, you know,
Matt, if there's one thing I've often said about you, you should be doing a better job.
But really, honestly, you know, we sell these products. We have these products. Meltonian makes a great cleaner conditioner. You use just like an old T-shirt or a sock, and you rub it on. It's kind of a creamy moisturizer, like you would, you know, your hands. And you put it on the shoe, and you rub it in, and you let it sit, and then you just buff it right off. Shoes look great. And then Kiwi wax, you can go to, you know, any store, Walmart, Target, wherever, and you can pick up shoe wax, shoe polish. Now, if you have a custom colored shoe, multiple colors, you can't use a black wax or a brown wax, of course. And that's where the cleaner conditioner comes in, because it's a neutral. It's neutral. You want to see what it looks like? Can I?
Yeah. And while you're doing that, we have a follower has a question. Okay. And it's not just anybody. It is the great Chicago dancer, Glenn Leslie, who I'm a big fan of.
All right.
He asked you, he says, I have some small silicone beads and a small silicone beads in a sock that he puts in his shoes after he dances to help them absorb moisture. Yeah. Is that bad? And does he run the risk of drying out the leather?
No, that's perfectly fine. That's, again, the silica is going to absorb that moisture. It's not going to keep the shape as nicely. Sorry for the noise. I got the big door open here, and there's a huge semi truck. But it's not going to keep the shape like a cedar shoe tree. A cedar shoe tree is going to keep the shape of the shoe. But that's fine. You're going to be just fine with that. Yep. And then the outside of the shoe, you want to use a leather lotion like this. This company is from Chicago. And this is a product that I sell. Yeah, Justin Blair is the name of the company in Chicago, and we sell their shoe care products. So
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, why have you never tried to upsell me on that? You've never once tried to upsell me.
It's not expensive. This bottle from me costs like $4, okay? And it's going to keep that $300-400 pair of shoes performing a lot longer, just from a $3 bottle. Yeah. And the cedar shoe trees aren't much either. Those are like, they're cedar, of course, so they're going to be a little bit more. I think they're $20 or $25. But
do you sell those also?
Yeah, we do. As a matter of fact, I got one here. Let me grab one here. Sorry. Good thing I'm
Matt,
mobile.
you think you know you guy. You know, I've known you for how many years? This is the first time I've ever heard you talk about these two products.
Yep, right there. Cedar shoe tree. Right there. They come in a couple of different sizes. They smell so good.
Yeah, I love cedar.
And to freshen this up, you just take a little bit of sandpaper and you rub it over the cedar, and it's like new again.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. You know what? There's also another great product, as long as we're doing kind of a sales promo here. I feel like
I love it.
Ron Popeil, what was the guy's name that was selling all that stuff? Here, these are UV lights. So the perspiration, the bacteria in the perspiration is actually what eats away from at the inside of your shoe. I'm going to set this down. Hold on one second, please. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right. So let me show you. I'm going to flip it. So these are UV lights, and this piece right here slips inside the toe of the shoe. You can see the little light bulb on there. Got it?
Wow.
Okay. And then you plug this into the wall. And there's a left and a right. Of course, there's two. I'm only showing you one. One says L. One says R. There's a button here. And then you can hit this. And you have to put this inside the shoe. And then you put these bags. See the bag? Put the shoe in the bag because you can't look at the UV light. Okay? And then you turn this on. And it runs for about 10 or 15 minutes. And it zaps all the bacteria in your shoe. And this is also, by the way, what kills the coronavirus, too. I'm not saying it's in your shoe, but this is what hospitals use to treat the HVAC systems. And so we're basically using that technology to kill the bacteria inside your shoe. And then you don't have stink. If you don't have the bacteria, you don't have the odor. Yeah.
Genius. Is that a brand new product? Because I've never heard of that.
Probably have had those for about 5 years.
Wow. Okay. Gee, if only I'd been there, in your office in the past 5 years, and you could have told me about it.
I use them all the time. We get back stinky shoes. We get back really, really stinky shoes. And the first thing we do is we run and grab those things. We put the shoes in there and we zap whatever's inside that thing.
So smart.
Yes. And we might even run it 2 or 3 cycles. and then this is another product we have, is a shoe deodorizers. And this is an all-natural product. And it smells like mint, so there's probably mint in there. And this will actually deodorize. I have another one here that it kills all the bacteria too. It must have a chemical like a wet one or something like that in there too as well.
I love it.
Sometimes we have to spray them down a couple of times with those things too. Yeah. So
tell me, what is the strangest request you've ever received for a pair of tap shoes?
Okay. How can I pop up something on here, or should I just try and... I have a picture of a shoe.
Oh.
Can I text it to you? How do you want me to show you what it looks like? How can we do that?
Do you have it in... If you could pull it up on a laptop, then you can just point the camera to the laptop.
Okay, remember that crazy beeping sound in my office? Let's
give me more of it. We didn't get enough of it.
All right, hold on. Let's see if it's still going on. Shit. Sorry.
Language, Matthew.
It's still going on. Oh no.
We have kids watching this show.
I'm sorry.
Now you and Josh Silverman. I've only had 2 people swear on the show. You and Josh Silverman.
Oh no. Well, let me get my machine going here quick.
Perfect.
And then I'm going to show you. Go on to the next question and let's try.
I will. We'll come back.
Sorry about the siren.
Yeah. What are some of the innovations coming in the next few years that might not be on people's radar yet? Is there anything that you kind of are, I know you and I have talked about truly personal sizing, like the ability to really have shoes that aren't kind of generic sizes, but really are the exact width and shape and all that. I don't know if that's one, but just generally, what are things coming down the pike that in 5 to 10 years could revolutionize tap shoes?
3D printing, no question. There's a lot of the big boys out there, the Nikes and the Adidas and everyone. They're working so hard, and there's a number of companies doing 3D printed shoes right now too as well. So of course, it's going to be hard to print a leather sole and heel if we continue down that road. But who knows to say that maybe with 3D printing technology that we couldn't make a better sounding shoe. You know what I mean? We've tried high-tech shoes. We talked about trends and we talked about things that have been different over these years, but and they haven't really stuck. But maybe something in 3D is out there that might make it better for tap dancers. So, and there certainly is materials Carrie and I were talking about, there's two gentlemen in Mexico that are developing leather made from cactus. So those are, yep, and because it takes so much water to make leather, and water is so valuable. You know, it's a limited resource, and so you know we're looking at technologies like that maybe in the future that could really impact you know, the whole industry. It could be ballet slippers and jazz shoes and everything too as well. So that's you know, I mean, those are certainly things that, you know, as far as, you know, what I'm working on right here, and as far as like custom made shoes made to your foot, 3D is great for that, right? Because we use a shoe last, and here I'll walk over there. Sorry to be so mobile, everyone, and walk.
No, please, I love it. So
we use a shoe last to make the shoes. Let's get over here. You're gonna hear. And so with 3D printing, if we can go right from a scan to a direct output, and we can bypass all the other all the other tooling we need to make shoes. I should have had, oh, here's a last right here. Let me just grab this one. So this is a shoe last. So this is the form that we use to build the shoe, and this is what gives us all the fit characteristics of that shoe. So it's the heel height, it's the toe, it's the shape, it's the length, it's the width, it's how it feels in the instep, it's how it feels in the arch. And everyone's foot is so uniquely different, just like yours, Mark. You're not special. So, and so what we're doing here is, this is a generic, right? We're trying to fit a lot of different feet into this shoe with this toe profile, with this particular heel height, with this depth in the toe, all these characteristics. And that doesn't always work. But, you know, certainly if we can bypass the shoe last and go directly to a shoe, and it could save, because right now to do a custom molded shoe to your foot, the cost is astronomical. You know, we're talking about, that's called bespoke footwear. And the cost for that can be, you know, anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. So, and that's a big price jump from a $300 or $400 pair of shoes to a $2,000 pair of shoes. But I think there's some technologies that are being worked on out there that could really lower those costs. And then you could get that custom made shoe exactly for your foot. And using things like an iPhone or an Android to actually shoot, and then from there send it off to the company, and the shoe's developed. So
love it.
Yeah.
You know, that actually dovetails exactly with my next question. So let's say somebody's going to call you and they want to get tap shoes for themselves, for maybe a son or daughter.
Yeah.
What is the best way for them to give you as accurate as possible a picture of what size they should order?
Yeah. And you know, first off, we all have mismated feet, so we have to measure both the left and the right foot. Okay. And the best way to do this is to actually go to a store and stand on one of those metal things. It's called a Brannick device. Okay. And
I learned that from you.
Yes. Yes. And from there we can get a length and width measurement. And then from there, we kind of have a knowledge. Sorry to keep moving around, everyone, but I'm going to show everyone what that Brannick device looks like, in case someone out there doesn't really know what the Brannick device looks like. This is a Brannick device. And then from this, we can get a better understanding of the length and the width. And then talking to them, or maybe seeing a photo of their foot via email or text, we can then gather some additional information to come up with what the best product would be for their foot. You know, because every brand, every shoe is so different. A K360 is very different than a Miller & Ben. Miller & Ben's different than my Mateo shoe. There's so many different, you know, the Sodanza shoe. And it's great. It's great that there's some choices out there, because not everyone's foot is the same. So
sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, and so, and that's why when you go to a store, maybe you like a Nike and I like, you know, a New Balance. So, and then the larger the manufacturer is, the more shoe lasts that they can offer. So it gives, like New Balance. I use New Balance because they do a great job with this. New Balance will have a huge offering of shoe lasts. And even tweaking a little thing like the instep height or the narrowness of a heel makes a huge difference on your foot. And so you might try on a New Balance model 935, and that shoe, and 935 is the shoe last, right? That is the name,
Yeah.
that's the number of the last, and that one fits my foot great, right? But you might say, oh, the 645 works better for me. So, and it's more like in line with your fit preference. And everyone has a different fit preference too. My fit preference on a shoe is way different than your fit preference. I know that.
Oh, that I know.
Yes.
So, Matt, we're going to take a 30-second break because Instagram has a 1-hour limit. So if you stick around, we'll be back literally within 60 seconds for the second part of our interview.
That sounds good. I'm going to get the computer going right now.
Perfect.
All right.
See you in about 30 seconds.
Sounds good. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone. Come back. Boom. Look at that.
Mrs.
Hey!
Yonley's on here. Your
Mrs.
mom's on?
Yonley is here.
All right. Hey, how you doing? Long time no talk.
You know my mom loves you, of course.
Yeah, we used to talk all the time. Now
Hey, Matt, real quick. No. Before we go on, Glenn Leslie wanted to ask, what are your thoughts about 3D printed taps?
3D printed taps. You know, there was a company in California about, I don't know, 15 years ago or so that was doing a plastic tap.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Mark, I think you've seen my whole tap collection here over the year. I got an extensive tap collection, and so I have some of those taps that were made. Hey, as long as we're talking about taps, check this out. This is an old point shoe tap that went on a point shoe, everyone.
Oh, that's
so that would go
cool.
right at the end of the box on the platform, okay? And then this piece would get nailed to the shank going up from the platform over the pleats into the ball of the foot area. You like that?
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is nerdy cool.
Chinese sushi.
Because nobody makes those anymore, right? Is that an antique?
No.
Is that from the 30s?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yep.
That is cool.
Yeah,
Is that an eBay find or a gift from somebody?
Oh, my dad, you know, from being in this business so long, we have stuff that is absolutely ancient around here. And we always have one of extras of something, you know. So we never throw it away. You've been to my junk pile here. It's like I got it. I never throw anything away. That's my
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
and I've said it and I'll say it again, but for tap dancers and tap nerds, because I think most tap dancers, we're nerdy about what we do. Going to the dancing fair, literally, it is our Wonka land. It really is like going in and, you know, you hear music and there's tap shoes everywhere and there's a river of chocolate, which I thought was a really great choice on your part. But it is
We're addicted to
Wonka
chocolate.
land for tap dancers. It is a mecca. It is a spiritual journey to go inside the dancing fair for tap dancers. So if you're going to Minneapolis, make sure you do that. I'm sure you saw that you had a question. Oh, I'm sorry I touched it because now your entire, there we go. Do you think that full sole taps sound different or have better sound than split sole taps? I think they mean the tap shoes, right? Because the taps are the same on a split sole or a full sole.
Correct. Yeah.
I know
exactly.
I have an opinion on this. I'm guessing your opinion is slightly more diplomatic than mine.
It is, but because, you know, when I set out to develop, and this is a long time ago, this is back in the early 90s, when I set out to develop the split sole tap shoe, our signature one, which by the way has a huge following for cloggers, huge following in the clogging industry. But I built my shoe with the same characteristics that a full sole had, minus the full sole. So I put a leather sole bend on the sole. So it's a thick sole on the front of the shoe, okay, that goes right behind the ball of the foot and it ends, okay? And then I put a solid leather stacked heel on the shoe, okay? And you have a gap, you have a space in the arch area, that shank area, that is a void. That's just the upper that wraps around there. But we still use a hard sole. What a lot of the manufacturers did, right, is they did a plastic heel. That's junk. Okay, first off.
Yes. Yes.
The other thing is they used a really thin chrome leather sole, a very like suede, like suede. So there's no substance or weight or sound to it. So
Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. You are
so
correct. Yeah, they are junky as they are commonly made now.
yeah, yep, exactly. So what I'm trying to do is talk to you and log in at the same
Do
time.
it. Do it. I love it.
That alarm is still going off. I just had to throw that battery pack out the back of the warehouse, and I can hear it from here. So sorry.
My mom actually commented. My mom said Mark had a friend toe tap in the 1980s. She's correct. I had a friend that did that in the 80s. It's kind of a throwback. She had learned how to do it from her teacher, who was older, and I think had done it in the 30s. Yes. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I always tell people, you know, the beauty of toe tap is that it's ballet with all that pesky grace, and it's tap dance without all those sophisticated rhythms that people hate so much.
There you go.
Whatever the opposite of synergy is, you know, you have two things and you put them together, they're greater than the whole. Whatever the opposite of that is, that's what toe tap is for me.
And it's dangerous too.
Right? Yeah.
Very, very dangerous. So
it was definitely a product of that vaudeville gimmickry, right? When you had to have a gimmick.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. So
keep going. I'm getting closer.
Yeah, while you look,
waiting. Everyone wants to see what Matt has on his computer.
I really do want to see.
Is crazy. So you guys are gonna die when you see this. You're gonna die.
So while you're searching, tell me this: when did you start creating your own tap shoe, and what motivated you? What made you say, you know what? I think I can do this better and at a better price point for people.
So are you talking about on a professional scale with a professional shoe, or are you talking about like our brand Dancing Fair that my dad had done for
No, I think more specifically to the high-end tap shoe, to the
Mateo, the GS1.
JS1 and the Mateo, the GS1 and the Mateo.
Yep. Yeah. So that all came about from my buddy Nick Bowman, and you know Nick. With Rhythmic Circus, and Nick, I gave Nick his first job working for me when he was 15 years old, and Nick was aware of a different brand, and it always hurt his feet, and it just didn't work for his foot, and he had specific requirements like so many tap dancers, and so I set out to develop a shoe that would be more like his foot, and hopefully more universally accepted by a lot of people with the same type of feet like him and wants like him. And so that's how that came to be. So I developed that shoe based on characteristics that Nick liked in a shoe. And it's not for everyone. There's no question about it. But it was exactly what he was looking for. Yeah, thanks. So that was what he was, aiming for. And that's how that came to be. So do you know how hard it is to actually talk to you and everyone out there on a live chat and remember passwords, to try and get my passwords into a Google account, okay? Because I had to restart my machine.
I'm glad you're not one of those people who mouths their password while they're typing it, because you would have shared it with all of Instagram.
Well, I use a password keeper, everyone. Use a password keeper. So I just have to remember a master password that is longer than sin, okay? So, and now I copied it. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, I have to see what I'm doing here. I need more than one hand. Okay, I think we're almost in, everyone. You're gonna. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Hey, while you're finishing it, my student. I mean, he's not really my student. I teach him, but he's a student of a teacher in Springfield, Illinois. He just said that he decided he wanted to be a professional tap dancer after seeing Rhythmic Circus when he was 9 years old. So isn't that a nice story? That is awesome. Jaden, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know what's really interesting is I've heard that a lot, believe it or not. Aaron
Burr,
no,
I do believe it.
Do you know Aaron Burr?
Yeah.
Out of South Carolina. Same thing with Aaron.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rhythmic Circus are super influential. And once you see their show, it just fills you with so much joy. They really, the work they do is phenomenal.
Yeah, they've done some really tremendous things, really fun things. Okay, here,
Yeah.
I'm getting there. Ready? Are we ready
All right, I'm ready.
to show you guys this? Come on, open, please open. Okay. Of course, it wants Edge to be my default browser now, which it's not. It's normally Chrome, but I can only get one of my two screens working. So, okay. All right, ready? Here we go. Okay, let's look at this tap shoe. Okay, it's going to be small, so I'm gonna get close to the screen.
Whoa.
How about that for a build up?
Is that like an octuple buildup? How many soles are on there?
I think it was 10. Now let's compare. Hold on, let me compare. Hold on here a second. Let's go here, and this is a double build compared to that shoe.
Whoa. That's extraordinary. Now, was that built for a specific function, or is it purely for the aesthetics? Do you know?
I'm going to show everyone my PPP. Okay, there, we're back again. Okay. This was a total beep up. Someone insisted that they be a certain height. And I said, impossible. I said, you cannot have a build that high. I wear high heels all the time. I can handle it. I'm like, do you know how thick you are talking? That is ridiculous. I said, I don't care if you wear high heels. These things are like concrete. You're never going to be able to do it. No. It has to be this high. It has to be this high. And I said, are you absolutely sure you're not talking? You're talking inches. Are you sure? And they're like, yes, inches. I said, are you sure you're not talking about centimeters? There is a huge difference. I said, okay. So we did one shoe, not even a pair. We did one shoe. I sent a picture, and she's like, what? Why? How did you make that so big? I don't want it that big. You got to be kidding me. I told you it's got to be XXX. And I said, XXX centimeters. Oh, I'm sorry. I had the ruler backwards. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, now you have a museum piece. I mean, those are like a work of art.
It's ridiculous. Frankenstein. Frankenstein meets tap dance.
Yes, I love it.
That was ridiculous.
So Tritone said, could you show the Batman tap shoes? Do you have a photo of those that you can show people?
I do. This is on my Google Drive here. I have them on my iPhone, and of course we're live on the iPhone right now. So
Matt, here's what I'm going to ask you to do, if you don't mind. When we are done, this is going to post. Oh, I lost you. Okay. When we're done, this is going to post to Instagram. If you don't mind, take a few minutes, and in the comments under the interview, please post some of your favorite pictures of tap shoes that you've done, because I think people would love to see. Because I know I have seen a lot of your work, and you've done some truly crazy stuff. I mean, people have had some pretty fun requests over the years.
Yeah, so you know, I did a show. This is years and years ago. This has got to be 30 years ago. We had done Mr. Popper's Penguins. And we had done penguin feet, the big, huge, gigantic penguin feet for like a penguin that's like 10 feet tall. So they were dressed up in these costumes. So what I did, and then mounted the taps onto the gigantic penguin feet.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So those are cool. I'll have to dig it up. I mean, I have so many archives like I have taps. Hey, if I lose you guys because my battery is dying, which is really weird, I totally apologize.
You're fine. We lost you for literally like a half a second. That's it.
I don't know how much longer I have, but I apologize. That's because I ran the PPP off of this phone today. That's why. I was on the seminar for an hour and a half.
We only have 2 segments left, Matt, and these are people's 2 favorite parts. First, the 2-minute tap lesson. You have 2 minutes to teach any step, concept, or idea in 2 minutes. I will be timing you. And I have a suggestion.
I only know
I
the
would love
buffalo,
it.
and I'm wearing the flip-flops right now, and you do not want to see my legs.
Well, no.
No one knows, but I'm a psoriasis sufferer, and you do not want to see my legs, so I apologize. So,
No,
but
teach us
I would
about
do
tap
the buffalo
shoes.
in these flip-flops.
No, I want you to teach us about tap shoes. I want you to take a shoe, and I want you to give us a quick tour of what each part of a shoe is. The last, the upper, the eyelet, the grommet,
Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do another one, and I can have all the componentry out? Can we do another one of these?
Oh.
Can I challenge
Yeah,
you
but
to that?
I still demand a 2-minute tap lesson, Matt. So
No, can we do another one of these and we'll do a 2-minute tap lesson in that? Or no, you can't.
we can do more than one 2-minute tap lessons. We can do another 2-minute tap lesson for sure, but I still want a 2-minute tap lesson.
Okay. You want me just to quickly put a tap on a shoe for you guys or something?
Yes, that was going to be my next suggestion.
Well, then I got to grab Carrie, and she's got to hold this because I can't do all those things at once. As you saw me trying to type in a password on Google and do this at the same time, how could I do that? Come on. Hey, by the way, I didn't even finish my tea, by the way.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, my coffee's long gone.
Okay. Who's this shoe? Here, I got a shoe here for someone. Actually, it's one of Tasha Lawson's students in Canada.
Oh,
Okay.
Yay.
Okay, so hold on. Let's see. This is going to be a quick and dirty one, okay? Carrie, can you come help me take a photo, a video? Here we go. Okay. Carrie's going to hold it. No, Carrie's on here. Carrie can say hi at least.
Hello.
Hi, Carrie.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Mark, you caught me totally off guard here because I don't even have a lot of componentry, you know?
I mean, I'll point out that I sent the questions in advance.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was on there. Was it literally on there?
Yeah. So, but wait, tell people what you're doing right now.
Oh,
Because this is really interesting to us.
I'm mounting the black fiber board to the sole of the shoe. Okay, and I mount them different ways. It just depends on the requirements of the customer. So here I used a D staple, and I mounted the fiber. And this starts from a beginning. I mean, I buy these huge sheets of fiber and I punch them out with a die cut, with a die cut on a punch press, on a clicker press. Here, I'll show you really quick. So first I'll take gigantic sheets of fiber board, and then we cut them down to size. This is the fiber board. And then I use a die, a cutting die, looks like this in the shape. Okay, I put it on this big machine here. It's a 40-ton clicker press. Here, I'll start it up. You can hear it. See, we could go through all this. So you hear it starting up?
Yes.
Is there anyone from OSHA watching? Because this is not OSHA compliant to take and to engage it by pushing down on this to engage the head drops. Okay, and it punches out a piece. Now I'm taking that piece, and please don't look at my messy workbench. My dad always said, cleanliness is the next thing to godliness, and I am not even close. Okay, so Josh, this is for you. So I put the fiber on there, but again, I do it many different ways. Sometimes I actually glue it. And now I'm aligning the tap onto the fiber board into the sole of the shoe. And then I grab this pull-down drill. And we have a little screw presenter that we use for some of the screws, but in this one here, I'm doing it by hand. And this has a clutch on it. So I'm actually right now driving it, and it's going to stop automatically where it needs to be, so it's not overly tightened and stripped out. Did you hear that click?
I love that.
Okay. And then, okay, so that tap is on. And then again, we're going to do the same thing for the heel tap. Okay. This is what I needed to get my work done here is, so one of the workbenches that runs one of the compressors is shut off right now. So I don't have enough air going to my air gun. So, but this is going to give you an idea. Again, I wasn't prepared for this, so. Sorry.
This is fascinating for all of us. Do not worry.
Okay. So, and then it depends on the requirement. Now this tap fits perfectly on the shoe, so it's not really necessary to do any sort of adjustment. But otherwise, then what we would do is we would, if it requires us to do like what we call a professional mount on the shoe, I would take it over to the grinder, and then I would shape the sole and the heel exactly to the shape of the tap. But you can see now the taps on the shoe. So that's, with not getting too deep, this is something quick and easy to show you guys.
That's perfect. That's a great 2-minute lesson. So, Matt, I'm going to suggest that maybe I would love to do a special 15, 20, however many minutes it takes episode where you can start with the most basic elements of a shoe and really show us start to finish as much as you can.
Sure.
Creating a pair of tap shoes. I think people out there would love that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So,
that would be awesome.
And I would like to be the person to present that to people. I would like to do that.
Thank you. I would like to do that with you.
Yeah. So Matt, are you ready? It is time for rapid riffs. These are questions I'm going to throw at you really quick.
Yes.
And most of these questions have 1 or 2 word answers. Again, I sent these questions in advance. So I don't want any hemming or hawing or, oh, this is hard.
I looked over
it's
these
okay
questions. They're not fair. Besides.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Nope. I'm gonna start. Number 1. Actually, I'm kind of curious. What tap shoes do you wear? Have you ever worn tap shoes? Oh, we lost you just a hot second. Wait, I lost you for a hot second. Wherever you are now, the connection's a little wonky.
Oh, I'm further away. I'm trying to get away from the. Can you hear me? How about now?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get away as far away from that that power supply. You hear it?
I understand. I barely hear it. Doesn't bother us at all.
It's driving me nuts. Driving me crazy. All right.
Arr.
I'm back in my office. All right. We're all set. Go.
Okay. All right. Question 1. What tap shoes do you wear? Have you ever worn a pair of tap shoes?
Absolutely. Yes, I have, and I wear the Mateo.
Yes.
Yes.
2. Taps. Tight or just a little loose?
Tight.
3, and I changed this for you. Song if you could pick any song to hear somebody tap dance to, what song would you choose? Maybe it's a song you've always thought that would be fun or
Take 5.
Hard.
I like
Take 5. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
4. Favorite composer.
Oh, maybe we'll just have to say Dave Brubeck again, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
5. Favorite movie with tap dancing in it.
Tap. Hands down. Yeah.
6. Favorite tap dancer to watch who is no longer with us.
Ooh, toss up. It's either going to be my great friend Robert Reed or Gregory Hines. So, but I love Robert. I love Robert. Yeah. Yeah. God bless him. Great guy.
Yes.
Great guy. Loved working with him.
Yeah. He was an important figure in my life.
I know he was.
Favorite?
Yeah. Yeah.
Favorite living tap dancer to watch?
Everyone out there. I love everyone. Mark Connolly and everyone else. No, honestly, you know what? I honestly, that's a trick question because really I have so many. I
know.
But if I had to pick can I pick a couple? I would say
you may.
I would say Michelle, and I would say Diane for sure, and Sarah Reich.
Yes.
Yep. I love watching Sarah dance in heels, and she's such a wonderful person. I love Sarah.
Oh,
so,
yes.
But,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All 3 female.
I saw that. Don't think
and
I didn't notice.
All awesome. They're all awesome and different and awesome.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll be able to name this, but let's try this. Favorite choreographed tap piece that you've ever seen?
No question about it. It goes right back to what we started this show with. It goes back to that 42nd Street, the money number, and the new 42nd Street. was off the charts. That thing,
Agreed.
I had, from the start of it to the end of it, I had chills and I had goosebumps, and I just wanted to watch that all night long. It was amazing. I know there's so many people out there on this live feed that have never seen this. They don't know what we're talking about.
Nope.
But that was so ridiculous. Unbelievable. I'm still
If there's
talking about
justice, that production will go to Broadway. You know, there had been when it played in Chicago, there was a lot of talk about it potentially going to Broadway. It really should.
That piece
stellar.
is awesome. Yeah.
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 What single tap performance that you've seen do you remember the most vividly?
Imagine Tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10. You can go back in time and see any one tap performer or performance. What do you see?
I don't know. There's so many, you know. I mean, I that's hard for me. That's a really hard one. I thought about that, and there's so
hard.
many. I can't. I'm sorry.
No, you're
one,
fine.
can I take a pass on that one?
You know, so let me tell you.
I would have loved to have seen Brownie in his younger years. Okay, I would have loved that. Because I had so many opportunities to meet with him and talk with him. You know, when he was working with Reggio. You know, and it was so great to be able to talk to him. I would have loved to have seen him in his young career. Yeah.
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 Agreed.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. See, you had an answer to that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. No,
Matt,
there's so
let me
many.
tell you, I was looking forward to asking you these questions partially because I know you are genuine. I'm going to be like completely genuine for a minute and not be sarcastic. You are legitimately one of the kindest, sweetest people I know. And I really was looking forward to asking you these questions because I knew how hard it was going to be for you to pick a favorite.
It's too hard. It's too hard.
I know.
Derek.
I know.
Bakari,
it's because you're hard.
All you guys, I see Bakari's on there. Sorry, guys. I mean, you know, there's so many. Honestly, you know, if Reggio's on there, sorry, Reggie. I don't know if Reggio's on with us. Even my great buddy Michael Shoehorn Connolly from out in Oregon. You know, I love watching Michael play the saxophone and saxophone and tap dancing. You know, I mean, there's just so many greats. You know. So many. Dermisha.
We have an embarrassment of riches in our field.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's awesome. It's so awesome. And I love talking about it. And when I get together with people who are not familiar with dance and tap dancing, I love sharing it. And I really love promoting it. And I love telling people how great this industry is and how great the people are and how great the art form is and just being able to be a part of it. And I love to share that. And so, you know, that's just what I love to do. So, and thank you to everyone, really. Thanks to everyone. Cause I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So thank you. So, and you too, Mark, too.
Oh, Matt, come on. So I'm gonna say a few things, and then I have a final question for you.
Yep.
First thing I want to say is just a couple things that whether or not people know. First off, you are a recipient of the Chicago Tap Theater Inspiration Award, the Service Award, which was so fun. We got to have you here. We got to honor you. It was such a fun evening.
That was a long time ago.
It was.
Yeah.
It was too long.
Yeah.
I want to say that you are the reason anytime I'm with other tap dancers that somebody says, does anybody have a screwdriver? I never have a screwdriver. And the reason is I've never needed one.
Oh.
Yeah. Once you touch a shoe, it's set for life. And it's funny because you and I had this experience. I'm going to share this story really quick. You had sent me a pair of shoes to test out and I wore them for a couple months. And I remember one of the screws came loose and I called you and I'm not going to lie, I was a little excited. Like I finally caught you. You finally messed up, kid. And I called you and I was like, Matt, I got to tell you, one of these screws came loose. You're losing your touch. And you asked which shoe and I told you the shoes and you were like, I didn't put the taps on those.
I didn't put the taps on those shoes. I didn't touch them. Those weren't my shoes. Yeah.
I should have known.
I should have known.
Shoes.
Yeah.
But
by the way, can we go back to dancers? I got to add Sam Weber in there too. So I added one male in there. I have to add Sam in there because Sam is amazing. I love watching Sam perform, and I love the sound. I love his sound.
Agreed.
So I got to add Sam.
You know, the headline of this interview is going to be, Matt says, I love Diane, Sarah, and Sam. Screw the rest of the tap dancers.
No, that is not true. I started out by saying it's too hard. You put me into a corner with that question. You did.
I did.
So now Derek's watching. He's upset at me. No, Derek is awesome too.
I see Kalina Miller has joined us too. She's
I love Kalina.
One of our favorite people.
Kalina is one of my absolute favorites of all time.
You and me both.
Top.
Yeah, you and me both. So, real quick, I want to thank Leah Koch, our marketing director and tech guru, for making all this happen. I want to thank our staff, Molly, Allie, Sarah. I want to thank the beautiful and immensely talented Jennifer Yonley. I want to thank our interns, Allie and Emily. I want to thank all the dancers of Chicago Tap Theater. Believe it or not, Wednesday, we are going into a dance studio with masks on, 6 feet apart, and we will dance together for the first time in almost 3 months. Cannot wait.
That's awesome.
I have not booked the guests, so there will not be an episode of Tea on Tap on Sunday because I actually have a job that I have to do. So I apologize, but next Thursday we will be back. We are talking about going to a once-a-week format. We will announce the next guest very soon. A reminder that on Sunday, Heather Cornell will be doing her film footage and discussion. I highly recommend you check that out. It is amazing. You can go to manhattantap.org/Heather Cornell Tap Dance. She has all the information there. It's a really amazing experience that she's created. Tomorrow night is the final night of book club with Brenda Buffalino. We've been reading Tapping the Source. Brenda, as always, will be there in person. So it is time for our final question. We call this our final shuffle. Matt.
There we go.
When you shuffle off this mortal coil, how would you most like to be remembered as a tap artist?
Oh boy, that is a great question. That is, I just bringing smiles to people's faces and making this world a better place.
Matt, there's no doubt that you have. I want you to know, just to be serious for a minute, there are few people in the tap community that I have loved the way that I love you. You are truly one of my favorite people on earth. Not just among the tap community, but just among like my friends. So
right back at you.
Thank you. Well, it's so genuine.
Yeah.
I have never laughed this much during any of the interviews. You know your old friends when you can bust each other's chops like this.
That's life is too short. We've learned that here in these trying times, in these months.
Without a doubt.
In so many ways.
Well, Matt,
so we're all in this together. So let's make this world a better place.
Yeah. Well, you are truly beloved within this community, and I know firsthand why. So
thanks.
Thank you for everything you do for us. Thank you for the beautiful shoes and all the great laughs and memories and the kindness. And I can't wait until we're hanging out in person again. So on that note,
I'm looking forward. Nick, if you're out there watching, don't give me a bad time about this.
On that note, I'm going to say goodbye. I want to thank you so much. Give your entire family my love. You know that they're all very dear to me.
Yes, thanks.
And I will see you soon. Thank you, everybody out there, for joining us. I'll see you next week on the Tea on Tap.
All right. Love you.
Bye, Matt.
Bye.